Hello everyone, Brett here at Progressive Mobility. Today we're going to continue with our shoulder series, working on external rotation and extra motion of the scapula. This is really important for a lot of reasons. When we think about proper movement of the scapula, especially when we're going into an overhead position and that upward rotation of the scapula, we need to be able to create, again, something that we've talked about multiple times, joint centration between the thoracic wall and the scapula, primarily from the serratus anterior, creating that proximity between the shoulder blade, the scapula, and the thoracic cage. And we also need to be working on having some synergistic movements of the trap muscles with the serratus anterior. So as the glenohumeral, or as the humerus goes into abduction and the glenohumeral joint starts to move into that abducted position, we need the serratus anterior to create that upward rotation, or that upward rotation of the scapula, as well as the middle trap and the lower trap and upper trap, creating a force on their end as well to create a force couple that allows the scapula to move into that upward rotation. Oftentimes, if we lose the ability to create this motion, we'll have a lack of serratus anterior activity, so then this rotating motion here gets overrun by the upper trap creating activation, and then we get shoulder, or we get scapular elevation, and then we get that shoulder tip starting to crowd up towards the ear, which puts a lot of pressure on the rotator cuff, creates a lot of pressure at the acromion, and it can start to be one of those things that causes a lot of our shoulder issues, especially in the posterior shoulder. So for today, we're going to be going over an exercise that works on external rotation of the scapula, and we create a position where the body has to move around the scapula. So dynamic stabilization of the scapular muscles, while the torso and the rib cage and the rest of the body is moving around it in the transverse plane. So for this exercise, you can use a voodoo floss band, a CLX band, you can use a loop band as well, and then you could use a yoga block, a pillow, or you can use an ab mat at the gym. If you go to a CrossFit gym and they have a lot of those abdominal mats available, you're going to use it as a pillow to support your head. So what we're going to do is we're going to rest our head on that support. We're going to bring the arm. First thing we're going to do is we're going to wrap the band. So the long side of the band is on the thumb side. We're going to wrap around a few times, and then we're going to pull tension with our opposite hand. So the right arm is the target arm. My head is supported. I'm going to bring my arm into a 90-90 position. Wrist is down on the ground, and I'm protracting the shoulder blade by driving the elbow forward. So my elbow is going to continue to drive forward away from my chest. My hand is going to stay down on the ground. I'm going to bend my legs to this position so my hips are in line with my torso, my rib cage is stacked with my pelvis, and then I'm going to push my wrist down into the floor, push my elbow away from my chest, breathe big into my belly, and then I'm going to maintain that, and I'm going to use my right arm to push and rotate my body away from my downside arm. So pushing the wrist down, driving the elbow forward, breathe in. Use those forces of my right arm to rotate my body away from my downside arm, creating that dynamic stabilization in the transverse plane, focusing on activating those muscles of the rotator cuff and the traps and the serratus anterior. Check out more videos on our YouTube page. Check out our Instagram at progressive_mobility or progressivemobility_AT for more content like this. Thanks, and we'll look forward to hearing from you guys, get some feedback on future videos.